Hello, and welcome to the Debrief 3.
How was everyone's day today? That's what you ask.
It's good. Yeah.
It's good. I got so many Valentine's cards from my kids.
I got chocolate.
So did
That was
I.
so
yeah,
cute,
chocolate
actually.
too.
I was like, who needs a man when you've got 22 kids who
I
love
find
you?
that very strange though, because I've never got that. in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
Oh no, here it's like such a big thing.
Right,
And
I
my kids
understand.
have asked all week, can we do something for Valentine's Day? And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a Grinch when that comes to this.
same. I was like,
Yeah.
no, because your teacher's bitter.
I think it's too commercialized.
Your teacher doesn't have a man in her life, so you're not doing anything.
Well, the girls.
Okay,
Do you want to explore this
No.
actually?
But I thought it was so cute. The kids just, and
Yeah.
like the boys though, more than the girls.
No,
gave me
No,
cards.
my class it was the girls.
Yeah,
More than
same.
the boys.
See, 'cause
They
you're
were-
still cute and
Yeah,
grade
yeah.
three.
That is nice.
Right.
I was trying to encourage the boys and be like, it's not just
Yeah.
romantic love, it's friendship, it's everything. They're just like, no.
same.
No, but then there's me, and I was like, it's too
Mm.
commercialized.
I had a kid who's got a birthday tomorrow, so they brought in cupcakes
Hmm.
for everyone. I was like, oh, wonderful. But also party bags, but the party bag had like 6 bars of chocolate in it. So the kids like opened it first break because I had, party bags little.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, please do not eat all this today. But they were bouncing. Like by the end of the day, in art, they were like, I was like, oh no. I was like, I think they've had too much. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic today.
Too
Love
much
it.
chocolate.
Yeah, no. My day was alright actually.
Good.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But anyway, Valentine's Day is over. Right.
Oh.
Okay.
We have spoken.
Okay. Right. Today we're talking about what like the teaching looks like in like 10 years.
Mm.
Okay. First question: will primary school classrooms look completely different in 10 years? Sarah,
Yes.
why? Elaborate.
Well, so,
Oh, it's a matter of fact today.
well, I mean, like, I think there's two categories. Because from what I've seen in the video I mentioned last time about Sweden and all that, I think the schools that are already really technologically advanced now will revert.
Yes.
And I think the ones that aren't so technologically advanced will
Go for it.
go for more technology and then later on revert maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
I agree. I think it's going to be a switch between,
Yeah.
because I don't know, like if we go everything technology, AI, everything, it's like, are we preparing them for the world to come? Or but then maybe that is what's going to happen. But then I don't know, will everything crash and then
Yeah.
it reverts back to
Mm.
books and reverts back to like
Like the
communication
ideal
and- yeah.
clash in 10 years'
Yeah.
time would be a good balance of both, in my
Oh,
opinion.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
These questions are very tricky.
what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they probably will. Like, it will always change.
I
It'll never
think
stay the
so.
same.
But it's like, I feel like I want to do this as well in mine. I think desks will become non-existent in classrooms. I think there's going to be more of a focus of like movement and what like kids moving to do their activities, or like if they lie on the floor to even like in my class. No, I do. I let my
Yeah.
kids like they're like, oh miss, can I do my work on the floor? And I'm like, do you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're going to do better work there than me forcing you to sit still on your chair.
When we did the chair strike, they
Yeah.
did some amazing work on the floor.
But it's true. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be more of a thing that we're like training them to sit 6 hours at the desk, and I'm like, but I don't do that as a teacher.
No, that's true.
Like I sit at my
Okay.
desk and I walk sometimes
Yeah.
around, and I think, oh, I couldn't sit in the kids' chair.
No.
But do you think that, what about those of them who will end up doing office jobs?
Yeah.
It's true.
9-5.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
the older ones, like at least my
Oh,
grades,
yeah, of course.
learn.
It's such a difference.
but the younger one,
Yeah.
you're right, it is a bit much to ask them.
Yeah. Like my kids don't even sit with their bum on the chair and their legs on the floor, and I'm like, you're sitting like that and you're doing work.
You ever see those standing desks that move up and down?
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 years' time they'll have little treadmills underneath per child.
Ooh. And the teacher at the front
So
on one.
Oh,
yeah.
steps in.
Ooh, get your
Where
steps
did-
in, indeed.
I also think we're going to use ChatGPT a lot more.
Oh,
It
yeah,
might even
yeah,
just
yeah.
replace Google. You know?
Well, it already sort of is, because if I Google something, I'm just like, no, it's not, if it doesn't come up straight away,
Oh,
I'm like,
because
no,
I'm not looking for it.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I just go and chat GPT.
Yeah. And even like using TeachMate to like generate PowerPoints and worksheets and stuff. I feel like I'm a lot quicker at like just make me a worksheet on this the
Yeah.
lesson objectives done.
But like, that's
Yeah.
not to say like I don't, like I change it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, same.
But it
It
saves you time.
saves
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It does indeed. Right. Next question. Will traditional grading and testing change for younger students?
Definitely.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I think that
Most
like
definitely.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think tests will be like we do some digitally, so
Yes.
where it just
Mhm.
grades
Yeah.
them themselves, and I think
Yeah.
it could end up all tests are like that, which would be nice in the sense that it then grades like the computer grades it for
Yeah.
you, and then you see everything broken down that
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
normally if you
Yeah.
were actually grading it.
Yeah. And I think in younger grades already, like there's so much observation already. Like your formal testing's so different to mine.
Yeah.
Even in grade 3, like there's a big jump up to you guys.
Mm.
Like so much of it is I observe what they're doing in class, like can they do this and whatever. And
Yeah.
grade 1, especially teaching them like phonics was probably the hardest thing for me to assess because they did their screening test, yes, but some of my kids who could read couldn't do their phonics screening because phonics didn't work for them, but they could read and they understood what they were reading.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So for me, it was then the observation of they're actually able to read, so I'm going to pass them, even though they can't actually sound out the word because they give you the fake words and they have to sound out the sounds. So they would have said, like, if it was, they were sounding out chase, like ch, a, s, but they would just go, okay, it's chase, go. Some kids would sound it, but if they did a fake word like, something like if, but if, like, but they just went, Miss, I don't know what that word is. They had to sound it out. So do you know, like
The
it was
alien
yeah.
words.
the alien words.
It's
yeah.
like in maths when they use a different methods,
Mhm.
and if you say oh, do this method, some get stuck,
Yeah,
but they
can
know
do
how
it,
to get
yeah,
the
that's
answer.
true.
I
Yeah.
just let them do their own method
Yeah,
sometimes
same.
because
Yeah.
if they get the answer,
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll say, Miss, I find it easier to do this. And I'm like, do that.
yeah, that's what I say.
I'm not hiring you to
no.
get that jumping up frog. The jumping up frog can go
Oh,
jump.
I hate
You know
that
what?
Yeah.
Me
method.
personally, I like it.
Sarah
I
loves the
wish they
frog.
had taught it in
Oh.
school for me.
I can't see it.
Oh.
Same.
They do not like
It's like
frog method.
we're taken away and suddenly we're jumping up to the other.
Mm.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Be done.
Yeah.
No, my kids are quite strong in maths too, so I feel like they can just do it.
Yeah.
They're
So
very
I'm just
good.
like, I don't know why I'm teaching this
Yeah.
and you can do it. And
Yeah.
we had 3 tests last week.
Wow. Maths test.
Yeah.
The science test as well. Oh, that was a drama.
But I think as well, kids are becoming more stressed. And I know we've talked about this.
Yep.
They've become more stressed with doing tests.
Yep.
Like yesterday, I gave them the end of unit White Rose assessment just to do in class because I wanted to see their actual ability at the point of end of unit. What can you do? They had a meltdown.
Mhm.
Miss, we haven't revised. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
you are in grade 3.
Yeah.
They honest, and they were like, do our parents know we're doing a test? And I was like, no. And then I had
And
some.
then, yeah.
Then I had parents message me to complain.
But
And I
also
was
that's
like,
a
but
culture thing
it's-
as well. Some
yeah.
cultures they want because they studied, they want
Yeah.
kids to. But I personally, I think that it's good to do both.
Yeah.
Yes,
a mix of
Which
both.
I do.
But the
both,
older
yeah.
grades, because
Mhm.
just because in secondary
Yeah.
you have to study, and
Yeah.
university
Of
you
course,
have to.
yeah, and
But then,
yeah.
but surely it is better to assess them
yeah,
just
Calm
cold,
down.
like just there. Actually, I want to see what you remember and what you know.
That's what yesterday was. It's like, right, this is
Yeah.
what I want to see right now. It's also for me. What do I need to do more work on in class?
Yeah.
So then today's lesson, I was like, right, they didn't understand equivalent fractions of a half equals how many eighths. They didn't get that we're just finding them multiple to multiply by or divide or whatever. So then I was like, oh no, that was more. But then it was, can we get our scores? Can we get our scores? And I was like, no, they're just for me. But my mom, I said, your mom will not know. Like
No.
they're so stressed and
Oh,
overworked.
yeah.
We
It's
did a
like,
science
oh,
test on whatever that was, and they were all so stressed about this science
I
test.
know.
And I marked
I
it.
was there.
I know. And I marked it, and the lowest score was 86%.
I know.
Wow,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. But I covered for like 2 seconds while you were doing something.
Yeah.
And I was like, does Miss Laura read the questions too? And they were like, no, Miss, we're not babies. And I was like, right, okay, go.
I did not read the questions.
Sarah, in about 2 minutes. Miss, what's this? Miss. And I was like, you just read it.
Yeah.
It's funny, but they just so overwhelmed and no
They
confidence.
don't like it at all.
No confidence.
No confidence in themselves at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we ruining them with tests?
I know.
Like,
I
are we
don't like them at
like
all.
shattering them to like? And I get obviously high school they need to do tests. Like that is assessment work, yes. But primary, I'm like lower grades. Do they need the formal
Yeah,
assessment?
like And in Scotland, when I was teaching there,
Yeah.
it was you don't study. It was just you gave them a worksheet and you said you can't
Yeah.
ask for help,
Yes.
but you didn't say to the kids it was an
Okay.
assessment,
Mhm.
and they just did it. It was
Yeah.
fine. There was no big
No.
deal or drama, and it was
Yeah.
for the teacher.
Yep.
And maybe that's
Yeah.
better because you are actually giving them a test, but they just don't have the stress of
Of this is a test.
yeah.
But then mine ought to catch on. They'd be like,
See,
Yeah.
mine
test.
do too. This is a test. I'm like, it's for me.
No, mine
and then they
is-
just and then they just go. Like, oh,
I don't like tests very much.
no.
Like it
Who
does let me see where they're at, but at
It
the same
does,
time,
but
I'm
it's-
just like it's the
yeah.
stress that I see them. Like they're so stressed in the morning, and then it's just. I remember the science test was after second break or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they were taking their science books outside and they were studying outside. I was like,
know.
oh, like, no.
I know there's something about that you just look at little kids and you think, what are we doing to
Yeah.
you? Like you can do that when you're
No.
older, but right
Yeah.
now you're
Like,
too young.
no.
Enjoy your childhood.
Yeah.
I remember I got 22% on a test in school once in primary school. Yeah, P6. Would have been grade 5 then.
Yeah.
Got 22% or something because I didn't. It was like a transfer test,
Mm.
but I wasn't going to go to a grammar school. They just gave it to me
Yeah,
anyway to see if I could do it, and then I was like, no. And I didn't study for it. And
No.
Yikes. Anyway, I didn't like tests, but stressed. Anyway, what parts of teaching will never change, no matter how much
Mhm.
technology advances?
They have to read, write,
Yeah.
do math. I don't.
Well,
that's
writing. Is a writing a thing of
Ooh,
the past?
well,
my tutors was like,
yeah.
do we teach handwriting or
Yes,
is it
of
just?
course.
But they
Yeah.
can't even type on a computer. It's just
No.
tablet.
Oh, yes.
So
tablet.
then, but that would replace it, right? If they were
The
not doing
tablet.
handwriting,
Computers will soon
it
go
would
into fashion.
be
Yeah,
they do typing instead of writing.
yeah. But
So
mine
probably,
can't
yeah.
type a lot of them
No, same.
properly
Yeah.
unless we're training them to. But like
Yeah.
I think a facilitator, like like okay, if AI replaces the teacher, you still need someone. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But you need someone in the room
Yeah.
because I was actually telling my kids that, and they were like, "But who's going to deal with the behavior? Like
I know. No,
AI."
there's still going to be drama.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to change. There will
No.
still be drama.
Oh, awesome.
The kids will still be kids, and
Oh.
their behavior is still going to be the same. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to suddenly become.
Good
Like,
because a robot's teaching
Yeah,
them.
no. If anything, it might be worse.
Yeah.
Like,
I think,
yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't imagine anything worse than taught by a robot.
no. Yeah. But I think like
Who said
homework's still going to be a thing, right? Like all the basics of teaching, like.
Well, you see, homework's kind of going out of fashion in the UK.
Mm.
Well, it's more project based now, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
and you have longer to do stuff, and it's
Yeah.
more family orientated. Of like, do this project, you have a month to do it. In my last school, that's what we did. It was at the start of the term, we set a project based on what they'd learned the previous term.
Right.
So like, we didn't start to like. So when I went in January, they were like, you need to set them their Egyptian project because they'd done the Egyptians for the first term.
Mm.
So they had like a
Oh.
month with their parents at home to make like different categories. They could make a model of like a burial site. They could do like a headdress. They could do different things.
Was it?
So bless you.
Thank you.
And then they would come back to me and present that. So we'd have a whole day where they would just present their projects. But
Nice.
that was
Oh.
their homework because they were spending time with their family. And they were doing communication skills, they were doing art, like all those subjects as well.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
projects.
Which I
Same.
thought was cool. Yeah.
Homework. I don't know. I don't like
Yeah.
homework either.
I give it. I like. We do two days of reading, 2 days of maths.
Yes, we do.
I think if it's skill based,
yeah.
like spelling, all of that,
Oh,
Spelling
yeah.
needs to,
table.
oh yeah, they still need to learn to spell.
Oh yeah.
But do they? Because autocorrect and.
Oh, see,
But
this
then
is the
even,
thing.
but they do because they can't even sound out the word. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's so many letters that are phonetically similar.
Yeah.
So I think the fundamentals of teaching will not change. The way we teach will definitely.
Oh yeah.
The room will probably change. Like
No desks.
no desks and forest skills in the UK is
Oh,
such a big
Oh
thing.
yeah, they
Like,
don't force skills.
Yeah,
They
like
read
my
it.
kids used to go in the mornings. They loved it.
Yeah.
They come back and they were top to toe in muck, and I was like,
Right.
"Alright."
That's why I think, like in
Yeah.
10 years, because those are probably a lot more
Mhm.
technology-based schools that when actually
Yeah.
we need the
Yeah,
physical
You
again,
switch over to that
skills
yeah.
and stuff.
Life skills.
life,
Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like, you learn how to make a fire.
Yeah,
yeah. Teach them how to make
Yeah,
a fire.
they
No.
do. Wow.
Isn't that
I
amazing?
know.
I know it's far better than being like, oh, you're a kid, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Risk.
yeah.
There's gonna
You
be
have to
times,
take the risk.
yeah.
Because then if you do that, then the kids are more likely to do
Mm.
stupid things
Yeah.
because they haven't ever done something with responsibility, you know?
And they're
Yeah.
not scared to.
Yeah, yeah.
They love a bit of learning outside the classroom in the UK.
They do.
Oh, they
yes.
We had a lecturer, she's called Kate, shout out. She loved to learn outside the
Yeah,
classroom.
yeah.
You ever have
I
her?
had her.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was adorable.
I know what you're talking about.
She loves
She
learning.
did.
She loves
She was like, let's all go outside. And we're like,
No.
it is -2 degrees.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
out.
remember sitting in a circle, we were all sitting on buckets. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
And the little film caps did a pop.
I have a video. She
Yes.
was
Film cap.
there. You know that
Or do you know camera film?
film for a camera.
Yeah.
Right. And the little tub it came in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we put probably a denture cleaner actually, like a fizzy tablet in it.
Yeah.
And you just put water in it, you put the lid on, turn it upside down, and it would pop.
Oh.
And that was, but she was like, this is like the best lesson. But we were sitting on buckets.
Yep.
We all had to bring a bucket into uni, and it was bucket school, and we all sat on the bucket
Oh, that was
round,
so
and
daft.
it was hilarious. And then it was go and
It
get
was daft,
like sticks and twigs, and we did
Oh.
skeletons, like the skeletal system. and
Oh,
everything.
we did that too.
Yeah, and I was like, this-
Using leaves, like
Yeah.
art, bringing art
and it was
in.
amazing. But I also was like, I'm
Did
sitting
you ever
on
do the
bucket.
thing?
You know?
Did you ever do the thing where you're holding 2 bed sheets and you had
Yes.
to fling something?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like,
That's cool.
I was sitting there and I was like, I'm paying £9 for this.
No, gal, don't
I'm
even.
paying £9 to sit in the
Yeah.
bucket. Listen to
And my
Kate.
bucket caved in. Oh, wild
It
handling.
was so embarrassing walking around
I
campus with a
know.
bucket. Oh, it was morning. It was really humbling experience.
We didn't even have buckets, so
I didn't even be an buy one.
same. That's exactly where we. Michelle and I on the way to class. Oh, I'll go buy a bucket.
Because Nikki asked me a bucket still.
Yes.
I don't really want to go to bucket still.
Yeah, the bag.
Yeah,
All
we
your
should do
stuff
that
in it.
here.
Well, actually, my
We'll do it here.
I quite like the idea because
Actually,
asking kids to
outdoor
go and sit
learning.
on the grass. I mean, if you
Yeah.
ask them to sit on a bucket,
Yeah.
it's so much better than.
Maybe
No,
we
my
should
kids
do
are like,
it.
ew, it's not like a.
Maybe we should do an outdoor learning
But if
day.
we got, yeah,
Outdoor learning day. We're not allowed in the classroom at all.
Oh, I'd love that.
everyone.
Not at the same time. Like,
I'll be better.
The class,
I
yeah.
might. Oh, should we?
We definitely should in the summer. I mean, we
Yes.
get great weather, so
Yeah, before it's too hot though.
Yes,
You won't be
yes.
dying on the.
yeah,
I know.
we should do that.
Yeah.
My kids still remember when we did health week. They're like, "Do you remember we did all the exercises out
Yeah.
there? We love it."
And a clipboard.
Yes.
Their worksheets on a clipboard, they go out and they think it's the best
Well, I
thing.
took the the other day and we were running around that because they were doing my head and I was like, right, we're going outside and we ran around that track about
Yeah.
5 times. Keep going, please.
I do that too. Comes up the door. You're going to do 3 laps of up and down. Just go. Before Miss Hannah explodes.
See, mine get tired. Mine get tired up because we're going up and down the steps all
that
the
would
time.
be
so
your
it's like-
adventure. Down to the bottom and up.
By the time we get outside,
Yeah.
oh, that's over.
Right, last question.
Hmm.
How can we prepare young learners for jobs that don't even exist yet?
Oh man. Because what even,
What
like
God,
jobs
everything-
wise, what's going to be,
What's that?
job wise, what even still going to be like a typical job?
I
Like,
feel like
you know?
YouTubers and influencers, that was something that was just suddenly
yeah.
a new job, and people
Yeah.
didn't think that that
No.
could be a
TikTok
job.
people now,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so
So, like,
weird.
computer, not even teaching computer in school, it's teaching everything like internet safety, teaching like video skills, but also oral presentations and stuff.
Yes.
Like the way to present yourself
Yeah.
and like how to speak up and like have confidence at the front and like
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Yeah, I
Like
think
we
that
prepare
too.
them that more than anything.
But also, like, say it's a job that just comes up. It's nothing like that.
Mm.
But like anything, like in art, a kid could be good at pottery, but not so good at drawing. Or like in maths, they're better at
Yeah.
shapes. And so like
yeah.
making as much as you can available for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they can, and then also with their strengths, what they're
Yeah.
good at,
Mhm.
nurturing that so that they see it. And then if there's a new
That's true.
job that comes up, more likely to take it than I'll just
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
office job or
No.
something.
That's so true because in school, so like I cannot draw like to save my life. So like my first 3 years in school, my teacher was like, please do not pick art for GCSE. And I was like, hey, I wasn't going to. So, but I did computers for GCSE and A level. And like, I know I am a bit of a nerd. Like, but I would say digital design is actually one of my key strengths.
Mm.
And like designing worksheets, making videos, doing that kind of stuff, editing
Yeah, and
software.
that's a form of art.
I love
Follow Miss
all of
Booth
that.
teaching.
Yes, follow Miss Booth teaching. TikTok and Instagram. But I think if I'd have been encouraged more in school, I probably would have gone into that instead of teaching.
Well, I always
yeah.
wanted to do teaching, but then I got told I couldn't be a teacher because I didn't go to grammar school.
Gal, all the same. Oh,
That's
so
crazy.
I
Look at us now.
Look at us now, being teachers.
From the comprehensive schools.
Well, see, I didn't think I was good at really anything in school.
No, me
I was
neither.
just kind of a mix of like, oh, I was
I
average.
just floated through.
But I
Like-
think being a good teacher, like
Good
it's not
sport.
that you're good at something, it's that you can teach something. You can break something down and
See,
help.
that's the thing. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm learning as a teacher.
Yeah.
It's we can present something. Like we were doing the digestive system today, and the kids were
Ooh.
asking me some questions that I didn't actually know the answers to.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I was like, just hold on, reading the book. Yeah, so this is, and it's just
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
present
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
that they can learn from you.
Yeah.
Because we're not creating anything new.
Um,
You know, like we're not actually,
Yeah.
we're not providing information from us that's already exists.
Yeah.
mhm.
So we're just taking it and
Presenting it in our
presenting
own
it.
way.
Yeah.
I think as well, etiquette, manners, like how you present yourself to people, how you talk to people.
Yeah.
I think that can be transferred in almost any job. And
Yes.
teaching kids that in school, I think is really important because I've noticed a lot of kids they don't have it, and it either
Mm.
means they're parents may be too busy to teach them at home or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, or it's. But that's something you can
It's
have in
true,
all
yeah.
jobs.
But
I get you far though, having good
It's-
editing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I get you far.
I think the younger members of staff in certain schools, not you, Gal, but do you not think there's a bit of a difference? I'm finding that like I'm seeing some, not, I don't just mean here, I mean in other schools as well. Like younger teachers are more likely to be like, oh, I can't be bothered to do that. I'm just not going to do it.
I don't do
Yeah.
that,
No,
guys.
I'm not talking about you, but I think like we're almost like we need to be polite and we will help as much as possible.
yeah.
Not to the point where we're taking
I think it's a
advantage of, but it's-
generational thing.
Yes, but even like just
Not everyone.
yeah.
you
Oh,
know.
I know.
Or like some I've seen teachers like just rock up late to work and they couldn't care less. Whereas
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am stressing if I am
Yeah.
late.
See
Like
if I'm not in by 7, I'm stressed.
oh, but it's just
Yeah,
like
it's
the
stressful.
blasé of. Oh, it's
But
fine.
I think it should
And
be. I
it's
think
fine.
etiquette should be taught in
Yes,
schools.
I agree,
Just
Sarah.
a bit,
Yeah.
like because kids, a lot of them don't know, and it's not their fault. They just haven't been taught it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it's the way we've been brought up though.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, our
Oh,
mothers.
Oh yes.
Jacqueline, Janet, and Jennifer. All of
It's really good. It
All
makes
Northern
you,
Irish.
all
but
Northern
it
Irish.
makes you think of others. Like
Yeah.
really, all it stems out is thinking of others.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're more likely to,
It's
do
just
well in
really-
your job.
I have a
it's
kid.
a tangent.
I know. Kid constantly in my
Sorry.
class, and I keep speaking, and he just talks constantly, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, do you hear that I'm talking? He goes, yeah, but I just can't wait to finish. I can't wait for you to finish.
Mm.
And I'm like, but he obviously at home isn't told. I just said he, but anyway, I was like, he obviously isn't told to like, wait, your turn. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. I think a lot of kids in my
Like,
class do that too.
And it's just, I find it
Which is
difficult.
why I think it should be taught in schools, because we shouldn't just think, oh, it should be taught at home. Like if it isn't,
Yes,
let's
I know.
sort that out,
Yeah.
or at least it's some sort of
Mm.
help.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And then kids are learning social skills then.
Yeah.
We had a social skills class. It helps them for job. Like I was doing interviews, mock interviews with my kids, and I didn't realize, I was like, oh, this is actually beneficial for them.
Yeah.
Yes, they're really young, but it's fun for them, and they it's sort of a little bit of training of how, later on in life,
It's true.
how they do interviews and
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you ever hear about the story of my interview for this job? Basically. And it was on Zoom, right? And I hadn't been on Zoom since COVID, and you're exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I must have been messing around on Zoom, and I had a background on my thing, like a green screen.
Oh. Oh yeah, you did tell me
Yeah,
this.
that's all the internet. But like, I went on and Ethan was there, and I was like, oh dear.
What was the background?
I think it was either like a beach or it was a grass.
You're already in Cyprus.
In Cyprus. I thought,
But
what
I
a time.
Like interviews going to be a big thing for kids where they're going to come across rude
Yeah.
and it's going to be.
And they don't realize.
Exactly.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
my generation interviewing those. Is it?
No, it'll be us interviewing. It'll be the millennials interviewing. And like they'll be coming up or well, you as well, like Gen Z as well, coming up. But then it'll be like they're just gonna come across so blasé and so rude, and I'm just like, no, you need to show a bit of enthusiasm in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Even when they get presentations in classes, sometimes I'm just like, come on. Like,
Sometimes I just clap them when they're not even finished. Oh, you weren't done. Sorry. But it's when they've gone for 10 minutes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
when they've copied and pasted it and they can't read some of the words. And nor can I. So I cannot help them.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right, subscribe. I'm very sick. Let's go home.
Right.
Bye.